So today I thought we'd talk about to what extent are we supposed to show our religion? Or is it just something that's meant to be, in our hearts? Because we see that a lot happening, especially nowadays. I feel like it's been trending a lot, specifically on social media. We see a lot of our sisters in the society, unfortunately, removing their headscarves and then saying that spirituality is an individual journey and I know where I'm at with my Lord and it's up to me whether I want to wear the hijab or not, which is true, all right? I'm not here to disagree with that in any form whatsoever. Your relationship with your Lord, it truly is your own, and spirituality is something you have to find on your own in yourself. But does that in any way allow us to actively display ourselves in a manner which is in contradiction with what the Sharia or what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us? The answer is no. If I were to be perfectly blatant and honest, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Sure, He talks about the hidden faith, the faith that you can't perceive with the eyes on your head. And it is meant to be in your heart, and it grows and flourishes and cultivates in your soul. The primary realm of its manifestation is how you feel inside. That's what faith is. It's that inner belief toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then He immediately continues the verse by saying, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. They believe and they do good things. Sure, good things, when specified in the Quran, is described as salah and zakat, right? But the whole idea of salat is to help us refrain from certain sins and encourage us to do things that gain us Allah's satisfaction. As the verse says, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ. Verily, salat protects us from indecencies and evil, right? With that said, it would probably be easier for us to understand why abiding by certain religious norms are the prerequisites to an accepted salah, and the other way around. When our salat is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will manifest itself in our appearance, right? In fact, many of the shari'i prerequisites to salah are outwardly, whether it's wudu, whether it's the tahara we have to have, whether the form of clothing we're meant to have while we're observing salah, especially for women. And this is where I want to bring this conversation to. A good friend once said that women are the flag bearers of Islam, and I've never been so flattered in my life. And it is because it's much easier to pinpoint a woman, a Muslim woman in a crowd than a Muslim man, right? I mean, the only thing that we would recognize about a Muslim man being Muslim is probably his beard and maybe a shmancy ring he's sporting on his right hand, which, again, when we look at the ahadith of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they often talk about signs of a mu'min, signs of a believer, and these are all outwardly things and items, like wearing a ring on your right hand, reciting Ziyara Arba'een every year, or reciting the Quran, or holding nightly vigils, and so on and so forth. So the point is that sure, iman and faith and belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that warm, fuzzy feeling you have inside, and only you know that it exists, or you know that it's fading away because of certain actions that you've done in your life. But they would inevitably manifest themselves and display in your actions and in the way you carry yourself in society, especially for us women. Because we are obligated to have a certain dress code, it's much easier for us to stand out as the believer of the one true God and the follower of the school of the Ahlul Bayt and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi ajma'in. And I think that's really awesome. It's an honor to be the representatives of Islam, to be labeled constantly as someone who believes in Tawheed and monotheism. Another point that I wanted to talk about in regard with whether Iman is something that's merely inward and hidden, or is it actually apparent, is a hadith from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, where His Eminence says, don't just look at a Muslim's prayers and their fasts and how many times they've been to Hajj, which are all, again, apparent factors, but look at the way they interact with other human beings, how trustworthy they are, how honest, how faithful, how loyal, how lenient and amiable, and that is so beautiful. So not only is Iman and faith something that isn't limited to the realm of the soul and the heart. And not only is it supposed to manifest itself in the form of our deeds and our prayers and our zakat and our nightly vigils and our hajj, but it's also supposed to be in our characteristic, in our personality, in the quality of our interaction and the way we socialize with other living creatures. Thank you so much for being with me. I leave you in the care and protection of the Almighty wherever you are.